let's talk about what's happening here on the West Coast. Both teams out here in LA made giant moves with Kawhi and PG joining the Clippers and the Brow heading to the Lake Show. In fact, according to Vivid Seats tracking views on specific games, both the opening night game between the two teams and their Christmas Day matchup are the two biggest games of the year. Despite many players yet to ever participate in the Clippers-Lakers game, is the Battle of LA already the greatest rivalry in the league?
This season, it will be. It's not just the battle for supremacy of Los Angeles. It could potentially dictate who wins the NBA. I'd love to see a Western Conference Finals. I can't wait for the opener, even though we may not see Paul George. So maybe we see them at full strength Christmas time. But I just drove to Palm Springs this past weekend. Don't ask me why, because it was blazing hot, okay? But there were Clipper billboards up as far as Palm Springs promoting Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. The Clippers are trying to basically stir it up and say, hey, we're here now. We've been here, but now we got the two stars. They understand the dynamics with the Lakers, but they might be the best team in Staples Center, and that might mean the best team in the NBA.
But do they just know they can't get fans in LA, so they go outside of LA?
All their money can carry all the way to Palm Springs.
I'm all for promoting your team. I like that.
I mean, I'm with you. Lakers-Clippers is the marquee matchup. The 4 games, we know when they are. Opening night, Christmas, late January, early March. It's going to be, the entire league putting their eyes there. And players will tell you a rivalry doesn't exist until you go into the playoffs and play one another. And so that's why you would say, Warriors-Rockets would be the other matchup I'd say that probably has earned it already. A 7-game series, a 6-game series, a lot of those players still there. But I just think the intrigue behind Kawhi spurning the Lakers or choosing the Clippers, being in the same building, being in the same town, that's what everyone's.
We're not even talking about what Patrick Beverley's going to be like, trying to shut down LeBron James, and he's going to talk so much trash, and it matters to the Clippers, okay? I know the Clippers say, oh, no, it doesn't matter. It matters to them. Montrezl Harrell, those guys care because they run into these guys in the city all the time. They're going to want bragging rights. They're going to show that they're the best team in LA.
I mean, the fact that they have to cover up the banners with pictures of players, that's why it matters, right? As far as pressure between these two teams, I know Paul George is unlikely probably for that opening night game, but who's the debut more important for?
I think the start of the season is really critical for the Lakers. I was looking at the schedule this morning, and they should really have the best record in the league, I think, by Thanksgiving. Like, you look at that early run, they play a ton.
There's a lot of new pieces to incorporate.
A lot of new pieces, but ton of easy games, ton of home games, right? Like, their schedule is always backloaded. You guys know that. The NBA waits till after football, and then they play a ton of hard games. You go into January, February, March. There's some brutal 5, 6, 7 game stretches against really good teams, but there's a lot of Phoenix games. There's a lot of Dallas games. A lot of teams that are not good. Minnesota. Like, they should get off to a 15-5 start, a 16-4 start. Like, they should prove they're going to be a really good team in the West right away.
The first 14 games, the Lakers play 5 of them on the road, but one of them is against the Clippers at home, basically. Right. But then they hit this stretch in December, or late November or December or something like that, where they play 8 of 9 games on the road. It's going to be ridiculous for them. They have to get those early wins.
That to me is why they have to get off to a good start, because you go to the beginning of December, they have a back-to-back in Denver and Utah, then they play the Blazers 3 out of 4 games. And that's when the schedule starts to get real. Up until then, though, they should really go on a big run if LeBron and AD are healthy.
Especially if we see another load management with Kawhi to start the season.
Paul George could be out, like Ohm said.
And the Lakers are going to have load management, too, with LeBron and AD.
Right. Well, look, once we hit the halfway point of the season, we got many marquee matchups. They moved to ABC Saturday primetime, which, those never seem to disappoint. And this year's slate features multiple appearances from the Clippers, the Lakers, the Sixers, Celtics, Warriors, Rockets, and Bucks. Now, there are 5 interconference matchups that are included as well. So, Tim, which ABC Saturday game are you most looking forward to?
Well, our bosses have the Warriors in the last 3 games for a reason, right? Because the Warriors are going to be waiting for Klay Thompson to get back. And those final 3 games, to me, are the ones I'm going to be looking at, because you're going to see Golden State, in theory, with Steph, Klay, Draymond, and assuming he's still there, D'Angelo Russell, all healthy, playing against really good teams. And that's, I think, when we're going to know, all right, are the Warriors a team that can still make a run to the finals again? Or are they a team that's going to be, a first or second round out in the West? I think how they do in those 3 games will probably tell us a lot.
Mine is going to be Sixers-Bucks. Right out of All-Star break, I want to see a well-rested Joel Embiid. I want to be healthy. And look, I talked to Giannis just a couple weeks ago, and he was talking about the Bucks should be the favorites in the East again. and he thinks the best team is going to win the championship, not the one necessarily with the best duos. But look, the Sixers are stacked with Al Horford there. The Bucks believe they are ready to take that next step. I want to see those two teams go at it, and I want Joel Embiid and Giannis to go at it inside the paint.
And to go back to the conversation you guys just had, I think Sixers-Bucks is going to be the best rivalry in the NBA this year and going forward, because those two teams have a chance to be in the conference finals for the next 3 to 5 years if Giannis stays in Milwaukee. And there was already bad blood last year. Remember, Ben Simmons, I think, and Giannis got into it in a couple of the games. They're going to be in all these marquee games this year. I think they're going to be in the conference finals next year. Like that to me is the matchup that I really want to see: Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons against Giannis Antetokounmpo.
So I'll take back to Saturday games. I'll take a little bit of the West, a little bit of the East. Sixers, Lakers.
Yeah.
And, personally, I'm from Philly, so I'll get to be home to cover that game. But beyond that, I mean, you're talking about some of the best individual defensive players in the league in Ben Simmons, Josh Richardson, Al Horford, and Joel Embiid put together. And then you have the challenge of the Lakers coming in with all that hype. And know who loves hype? Joel Embiid.
Right.
He's just going to feed into
Embiid
whatever it
versus
is.
AD.
Right. Whatever the story is going around that game.
He really likes to go up
gonna,
against Anthony
Yeah,
Davis,
he's
too.
going to put gas on the fire.
Yep, no question.
As much as pressure we talk about the Clippers and Lakers being under, the Sixers, they no longer have the adult in the room, as Brett Brown would say. There's no Jimmy Butler, someone to bail them out. They have these guys with huge expectations in Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, and now they kind of have a runway to get to the NBA Finals. There's no more Kawhi, like 17 bounces in their way. So there's going to be a lot of pressure for them, and a marquee matchup like against the Lakers is going to be something where they can prove that they, are rightfully alongside the big boys.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports analysis and highlights, download the ESPN app. And for live streaming and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.